Hello everyone and welcome to another vlog. So recently I went with my family on vacation to Europe for a week. So this is my first time ever going to Europe, so this is definitely a new experience for me. Throughout the entire week I've been on vacation, I have documented the entire journey, and that is what I want to share with all of you today. But where exactly in Europe are we going to? Well, we are going to be heading to London. That's where we're going to stay, but we're going to be visiting France for one day as well. So those are the two locations that we're going to be seeing. So the distance between London and Canada is about a 9-hour flight. So yeah, I had to get as much sleep as I could because I knew that there was going to be a huge time zone change and jet lag was definitely going to come at me, and I tried my best to get as much rest as I could so that way I wouldn't be so affected by it. Yeah, that did not do much. I did not get as much sleep on the plane at all. I was so tired throughout the entire trip, but it was worth it nonetheless. 9 hours later, we made it. It's supposed to be nighttime in Canada, but now it's midday in London, so yep, you already knew it was gonna be a rough start. Our first plan of action was to be driven to our hotel so that way we could drop off our stuff, and then we can start venturing out on our own. The driveway to our hotel actually took a lot longer than I anticipated, but it was good because it allowed me to get a good first impression of London. And wow, the landscape here is very different. One of the many things that are completely different in the UK is that the driver's wheel is actually on the right side. In Canada, it's on the left. And also, they drive on the left side of the road, while in Canada, we drive on the right, which was interesting to me because the person that was driving us there actually offered me the front seat, and then he started opening the left door, so I thought he was like jokingly giving me the driver's seat, and I was like, oh wait, the driver's wheel is on the right side. Never mind, you're not joking. So that was a little awkward. Hope I didn't make a bad first impression. A lot of the buildings here actually look very rustic and old on the outside, but when I went on the inside for many of them, they look very modern and well-structured, which was interesting to me. Wow, look at all those pigeons. When you're in London, there are so many pigeons. They're everywhere. They're even inside buildings. If you go to London ever, expect to see lots of them. You know, I'm not very comfortable getting into strangers' cars. Luckily, my dad is very capable of making light of the situation because he could talk to any stranger like they're best friends with him. It's honestly a skill that I'll never have. Do you see that building over there that says Harrods? Based on what it looks like on the outside, you would never expect what it would look like on the inside. We will be visiting that building at some point, but just keep in mind, it is not what you expect. My only guess is that they have to keep renovating the inside, but they want to preserve the outside because that's what gives the appeal of London. Alas, we finally arrived at our hotel. You know, at first, I was genuinely nervous because a lot of the buildings looked very rustic, and I thought that's what it was going to look like on the inside. I stand corrected. The inside is awesome. Could you believe that we only ate here once? We've been venturing out every single day. And here's the hotel that we've stayed in for a week. That lone bed over there next to the window is where I slept. And here is the bathroom. One thing that surprised me is that there's no shower curtain, which means that when you shower, that water is going to go everywhere. Remember when I said we were only going to eat here once? Yep, this is the one and only meal we had in the hotel. Now that we have unpacked our things, it is now time for us to venture out. Keep in mind that most of this trip is just going to be us walking. Yep, it's a walking trip. Enjoy it. You know, a lot of these buildings are really cool, but we've never went into most of them. I'm just imagining what could possibly be in those buildings, and I'll never know because I'm never coming back. Also, many of the locations that we are visiting require taking the train. And I hate taking the train. Okay, so I don't like recording in public. It just gets me nervous because I don't want people to like look at me. And I tried to avoid doing that when I was like trying to record a bunch of footage for this vlog. So I'm sorry if the camera looks like it's shaking a lot. So that was pretty much it for day one. We just walked around and tried to familiarize ourselves around the area. This was already so much for day one, but remember that this is just the beginning. Oh, it's already the first night, and I woke up early, trying to get enough sleep, but couldn't. It's literally 6 in the morning. Everyone woke up early, so we had to make the most of it. On the bright side, walking out in the rain in the early morning is actually really beautiful. Unpopular opinion, but I actually like walking in the rain. It's very relaxing. That building says The Shakespeare. Oh god, no more Shakespeare. I've had too much trauma from reading Shakespeare in English class. I've had enough of it. You know, I've noticed that the buses are actually 2 floors, so I can only assume that there's so many people that are taking the bus in this area. I mean, it makes sense. There was an overwhelmingly amount of people in London. Too much for me to handle. So, walking in the rainy weather, it's actually pretty nice. The thing is, most of our trip it was actually raining quite a bit, and windy in some points, so that's fun. So one of the first places that we visited was Buckingham. The Buckingham Palace is actually what we're looking at, which is where the Queen lives. I can only be so certain that we're not allowed to go in there. And if we were, you would definitely not be able to go in there for free. It would probably cost my entire life savings to get 1 foot into that castle. Oh well, the exterior is actually pretty nice too. I'm fairly certain that all of your parents are very obsessive about taking pictures in order to keep memories. And that's fine. That's the entire reason why I am making this video in the first place. But come on, our umbrellas look fine in the photos, Dad. We don't need to take off our hoods and umbrellas just for the photo. It's just, I don't want to get sick. I don't want to get my hair wet, but we have to. You know, this entire trip overall felt like I was time traveling into a very early century. I mean, I can only imagine what this place would have actually looked like and felt like during those times. Afterwards, we took a little break at the mall and did a little bit of shopping. You'll probably never hear this come out of a guy, but this trip alone has actually made me more interested to shop. I just really wanted to freshen up my wardrobe because my mom has really bad taste. Sorry, Mom. After we were done, we visited one of the most memorable locations in London, and that's Big Ben. What's weird enough is that this building actually looks smaller than I thought it was, but also bigger than I thought it was going to be. It's kind of hard to tell in a video. You would have to look at it in person. Big Ben makes a tune every 15 minutes, and every hour it's a 1 minute long tune. So don't be alarmed, it's just Big Ben doing its thing. That Ferris wheel looking thing is the London Eye. We did not go on it, but if you do go on it, you can get a very good aerial view of London. But in this case, just enjoy the ground view. You know, there are pillars on the bridge that have names written on them, and of course I put my name on there as well. I've noticed that most of the names on there are couples, so I'll probably be the first ever single person to have my name written on there. I'm proud of it. Okay, now we're actually getting closer to the London Eye. Once again, we did not go on it because we did not have the time. I believe it would take like a half hour for it to go all the way around, and that would just take way too long. Oh look, pigeons again. If I had $1 for every pigeon I saw, I'd be able to pay to go on this trip alone again. After walking, we went into a nearby restaurant to eat, and there's a bunch of artworks here who I assume are celebrities. Do you think you could name all of them? Because I can't even name one of them. And we had fish and chips here, which was the exact same meal that we had when we were at the hotel yesterday. Once again, a lot of these buildings look very ancient, but that's one of the best things about looking at them. I actually really wonder what this would have looked like from a higher point of view. Oh, maybe we should have went on the London Eye. Pretty much after that, we were just exploring around the area so we could get a good idea of the environment surrounding Big Ben, which was pretty nice. Well, get ready for tomorrow, because we're not even going to be in London for the whole day. Again, we're waking up early in the morning to go to our next destination, and that's Paris. So to be able to get to Paris from here is that we need to take a train, which is like about 3 hours away. And the interesting thing about this is that Paris is actually a different time zone from London. Paris is an hour ahead. Okay, the most nauseating part about this entire train ride was that I had to sit facing backwards the whole time. Not fun at all. But after all that, we're finally here, in Paris. Now, what's probably the most famous building known in Paris? The Eiffel Tower, right? Yep, we're going to be seeing that later today. Now, I would like to inform you that we're not actually wandering on our own, for the most part. There's actually a tour that's guiding us through. I mean, they do still give us a bit of time to actually wander around the area on our own. I guess it's no surprise that a lot of these buildings still feel very similar to the ones in London, right? Okay, I know I said that a lot of this trip is going to be walking, but I am so glad that they are busing us throughout the entire trip at some points, because my god, my feet would be dead at this point if we had to walk the whole time. As if my feet weren't already dead to begin with, because this trip has already killed my feet. There's actually a cool little marketplace over here in this area, which was nice. Unfortunately, the bus that we were in was so damn wide that it literally took us forever to actually make the turn and get into the right path that we needed to go in, because the bus was so long that it was so difficult to get through, and we were holding up like the line and we were creating traffic, and my god, it was a disaster. It was just constant, okay, we need to reverse, can we make the turn? Nope, okay, we need to reverse, can we make the turn? Nope, and so on and so forth. You know, as we were being toured, the person guiding us was actually giving us a lot of information on like the buildings that we were seeing, like the history, and I would like to inform you on some of this stuff, but I could not remember any of it for the life of me. I mean, honestly, I was more focused on like the buildings and how cool they looked. I don't really care about the history. Again, there's so many buildings, so many shops, so many stores, so many restaurants, and we barely visited any of them. It would probably take us years to actually explore everything in this area. I mean, I've only been here for a week and that was already enough for me. I'm sorry that I'm not talking a lot. I would like to give more information on these buildings, but I'm not knowledgeable enough to really give you enough information on that. Honestly, just enjoy the view and nothing else. Hey, what's that? It's the Eiffel Tower! We're going to be getting a closer look at that very soon. I'm fairly certain that a lot of these buildings have very historical backstories to them. Again, to which I cannot explain or get into. If you're really interested, you can do your own research. And there it is, the Eiffel Tower, at a much closer angle. Oh hey, another view of the Eiffel Tower. Of course, the first thing that we went to was have some lunch. As soon as we finished eating, we finally had time to start walking around and get a good look around the place. A lot of people were actually selling some cool stuff, but I'm the type of person that just likes looking at them rather than actually buying them. Because you could look at them for free, but you can't buy them for free. Apparently, Paris is called the City of Love, and if you've watched my love video, yeah, I don't care. I will gladly be the only person here that is not in love. We can actually get up to a higher point in this area, which means we can get a very good view of everything around us. That French saying up there translates to "every man created without knowing it as he breathes, but the artist feels himself creating his act, engages his whole being, his beloved pain strengthens him." Not sure what that means, but that's what it says. As we were almost done with the area, we decided to have a little bit of dessert, and I had some ice cream. And then we went back into the bus, and we were being driven around to see some new locations. Soon after, we arrived at our next stop. That translates to the carousel rooms. So around this area was basically just a bunch of shops, so at first I assumed there was probably not much that we were going to do. Like I said earlier, I'm the type of guy that likes to look at things but never buy anything. So that red creature right there is Furge, I think that's how you say his name, but he's the mascot for the Paris Olympics. So yeah, shopping, not the most interesting, but luckily there was an area outside where you could see a lot more. And around this area is the Louvre, which is that pyramid-shaped thing that looks very similar to the one that you saw before. But this time we get an actual look at it. And there it is. You know, I'm actually very curious to know what this area used to be like back in the day, because I have a hunch this used to be something really big. Other than that, this was really cool. This was pretty much where we ventured off to in Paris, and I had a lot of fun. For today, we are going to be going on a boat that is going to drag us across the waters of London and under the London Bridge. I'm actually really excited to go on the boat because this is kind of like a throwback to the last vlog that I did when I went on a cruise. That building right there is the London Shard, which is the tallest building in London. Next over here, we get a good view of the Tower of London. In this area, I noticed that there were a lot of kids here in groups. I assumed this was probably like a field trip for the kids. This kind of takes me back to like when I was in elementary school when we were going on like a field trip to like a very far away area. Oh my gosh, it's the London Bridge. I hope it doesn't start falling down. That would be bad. And here is the inside of the boat that we went into. Really takes me back to when I was in the cruise many months ago. At least the only good part about this is that I didn't get horribly seasick. And here we are, about to go under the bridge. And here we are, going past the bridge. We'll be going in a huge circle, so we're going to come back to this very soon. Of course, they weren't going to let us in here without giving us a bit of food and dessert. Hey, it's London Bridge. Again. It's actually possible to get to the top of the boat, and at this point we were pretty much just getting a good view from everything from here. And because of this, we were able to see some locations again that we were able to see before. Like that's Big Ben, and that's the bridge that we crossed earlier. And here's London Eye again. This place is very capable of making very irregularly shaped buildings, and according to the person that was driving the boat who was narrating us, apparently one of his friends said that that is probably the ugliest thing that he's ever seen. Oh, it is London Bridge. Okay, just making sure. Now I know. And yep, we're back. We pretty much went in a huge circle. This was actually a really nice tour. I was able to see many areas that aren't normally seen when you're on land. And after that, we pretty much just went to downtown just to look at the place and, you know, have a place to eat. Of course, we stopped across a few really cool buildings, but no, we did not go in any of them. We just looked at the outside. This building right here is St. Paul's Cathedral, which once again is a very nice tourist attraction, but not really worth going in. Or maybe it is, I honestly don't know what's in there. And here's the overall front of it. One of the clocks is apparently missing on the left side. Not sure if that's intentional. Apparently around this area there's actually a school here. I'm not sure if it's a high school or a university. It looks like a high school to me. Afterwards, we left and headed to another area in town. Of course, we just mainly did some shopping, and that's pretty much it. When these souvenirs are so cool to look at, but they're not worth buying. Or, that's a lie. There's actually a hoodie in this store that I actually really liked, and I actually bought it myself. Named souvenirs, my name's definitely not going to be in here because my name is way too common. Oh, never mind, there it is. Good way to end today. Alrighty guys, we're on day 5 and I just want to let you guys know that this day is going to be the longest day out of all the others because today we are going to be visiting 3 different locations all at once. Yep. This was literally the day where I just felt like falling apart. Jet lag was hitting me. I could not hold on any longer, especially when we got to the last location. But I hope you enjoyed nonetheless. Our first location is here at Windsor Castle. The interesting thing about this tour guide is that she actually gave us like radios and like a headphone that will attach to her microphone, so that way when she talks we'll be able to hear her even from afar away, which is cool. I feel like when you watch these videos, it really makes the vacation feel really short and quick. But really, this felt like a really long time. Driving here alone took like about an hour, and we had to wait like half an hour until like the castle would actually open and we'd be able to get into it. So lucky for you guys, you get to skip all of the waiting and just get to see all of the highlights because I edit all of that out. I don't even record it because it's boring. But anyway, here's the outside view of the castle. It looks really cool on the outside, but just wait until you see what's on the inside. I know I've said that most of the buildings here look really old on the outside, but very well refurbished on the inside. This is one of those few instances where it's not. It looks very old on the inside, and I think that's the point. Over here is like a cool garden area. This might be my favorite part on the outside. At the moment when we least expected it, some guards actually started appearing and marching in front of everyone. What a nice performance. I believe this is the backside, and this is the view that you can see from here. Alright, I think that's enough for outside. Let's actually go to the inside. However, there is no photography allowed on the inside, but my sneaky little self was able to capture several images here. I'm not sure if this is like illegal or not. I'm sorry if it is, but like, come on. If you're gonna show me something this cool, how could I refuse to take pictures of this? Like, look at this place. It actually looks like a really ancient, like, palace. And over here is the bathroom. This is actually the only part that doesn't say no photography allowed. So technically that's still legal to take pictures in here, right? Right. And that was our first location out of 3. Our second stop is going to be, I'm sure, is going to be something that most people are a lot more knowledgeable about. Now the thing is, every stop takes like about an hour of driving to actually get there, which means that every time we finished going to an area, taking the bus, we would have to wait like at least an hour or an hour and a half. So yeah, that was fun in between stuff. So this is our second stop. If you don't recognize it, that's because we aren't actually there yet. Apparently we had to stop someplace and then take a separate bus to get there. Do you see those stones there? Does it look familiar? Yep, that's Stonehenge. This area was incredibly windy, and it was even raining too, so it kind of ruined the mood. It's not even worth taking out your umbrella because it's just gonna flip inside out. That just shows how strong the wind is, when your umbrella flips inside out when the wind catches underneath it. I hate when that happens. There were actually a lot of sheep on the other side of the area, so that's probably why it smells. Afterwards, we arrived back at our stop, and there was even an exhibit where you could check out some cool backstory and artifacts that related to Stonehenge. And here's a few fun facts, if you want to read those. After checking out the exhibit, we went back to the buses and began driving to our third location, and thankfully to some place that is not as windy. You know, I just realized that it was raining a little bit, but there was still a lot of sun. So do you think that there could have been a rainbow? Yeah, a rainbow appeared. That's my calling card right there. Our third location required us driving up to the higher parts of the mountain. So the fact that we were like really close to the edge of the mountain made me incredibly anxious. Our third and final stop is going to be at the Roman baths, where we get to see where the Romans used to bathe. If you think that's boring, then don't worry, there's more to see than just the baths. Again, there are a lot of public performers in London. At this point, it's no surprise for the locals to be witnessing this frequently. Without further ado, here is the Roman bath. And no, that is not the water that they bathe in. I thought the same too. Don't be stupid. It just looks gross because the water hasn't been cleaned in who knows how long. If you thought that was boring, then don't worry, there's an entire exhibit of things to see later on. Which is good, because I honestly thought that was all we were going to see and that was it. So, you made up for everything, Roman baths. There's actually lots of reading in this, so if you want to read it, then you can pause it if you like. The fact that this is an actual cavern is what's so interesting to me, because knowing that this used to be like a cavern and then now it's created to be like some sort of museum is what's so cool. This right here is a hot spring, so yes, the water is indeed very warm here. After that, we came back out and we were able to see the Roman baths on a lower level, which means we were a lot closer. And that was pretty much it. This was probably one of the most exhausting days that I've ever had, and the most exhausting day throughout this entire vacation. But it was fun nonetheless. After day 5, we pretty much visited all the main locations that we were planned to visit in London. So the last 2 days were pretty much spent on just walking around downtown and visiting some areas that we have not visited yet. I remember back on day 1 I saw Harrods, and now we're actually gonna go inside. Just like I said, the inside is not what you expect to look like based on the outside. This is Harrods on the inside. Apparently, it's a very expensive store that sells a bunch of clothing and purses, which I could definitely not afford even if I wanted to. The only thing here that I actually liked was this very beautiful arrangement of rainbow accessories. Nice. Okay, seriously though, I could not afford any of this stuff even if I wanted to. Like, that glass piece right there would probably cost more than my life savings, and it's not even an item that you can buy. That's just how expensive it is. Anyway, we spent most of the day just wandering around downtown and just looking at how packed it is. Like, imagine living this life every single day. I could not even last a single day doing this. There's way too many people here. It's too much for me to handle. Oddly enough, I don't even visit downtown in Canada very often, so this alone already felt like a very foreign experience. Of course, we also went shopping for some cool clothing to keep as souvenirs for the journey that we had here, but I was actually really excited. You see that white hoodie right there? I bought that. When we were in downtown, there were a lot of performers and street artists. Like, look at this woman. She's drawing an entire face of just chalk, and upside down. How? That sign up there says Happy Ramadan, which I believe is a holiday for Muslim culture. Again, there's so many shops, so many places to visit, but we of course would not have all the time to check every single one of them. Oh look, it's KFC. Wait, what? Anyway, I noticed there were these Chinese lanterns here. I believe we were in Chinatown for London. Interesting. There's actually even a building dedicated to Harry Potter. I didn't go in it because I'm not really a Harry Potter fan. I wasn't really expecting to see Chinatown here. Well, it was nice knowing you, but we gotta go. It's officially our last day of vacation, and what better way to start it off by going to a cathedral. No, I'm not very religious, but my parents very much are, so we had to attend mass. Yeah, very boring, but the place is really cool on the inside. Remember, this is a cathedral, not a church. It's more than a church. Here's a better external view of the cathedral. As always, we were pretty much just done with visiting all the places, so we kind of just killed time by visiting some shops. And look what I ended up discovering. Welcome to Loden. Apparently back in Buckingham, there were a bunch of guards that were marching in front of the palace, and apparently everyone was going to see it. Unfortunately, we arrived very late, so we didn't get to see very much of it. So sorry, but this is all we're gonna get. So yeah, we're back in Buckingham for a bit. We obviously have visited this place before, but the first time there wasn't many people in there at all, probably because there wasn't an event being held. But now that there's so many more people, it's crazy, and it's overwhelming. After that, we went back to downtown to visit some more places again, and I wanted to put this in because this was very weird. Apparently one of the police officers got mad at a girl for doing something, and I'm not sure what it was, but she was saying that, you know, you're not special, you don't have the rights to do that or whatever. Oh, by the way, today was actually St. Patrick's Day on this day, so I got to see a lot of green, but other than that, not really much happened today. It was pretty much just doing a few things that we missed. And there you have it. That was pretty much my entire trip in Europe. If you actually watched this video all the way to the end, seriously, I applaud you. I hope this video in some ways helped you get a bit of experience in London and Paris if you actually want to visit the place but haven't. Honestly, it was a really fun experience. I enjoyed it. And honestly, the best part about making this video is that one day I'll look back at this video and cherish all the great memories that I've made. That's one of the greatest parts about making this vlog. It's so I can look back at all the memories and think about how much fun it was during that time. Even if you're not interested in going to London, I hope this video in some ways helped you get a very good experience of what it was like being here. Although, even though I was trying my best to show as much as I could, there's still so much to London that we have yet to see. And everything that I've seen is only a short bit of it. But I hope you all enjoyed this video nonetheless.